Okay, so imagine this. One single family, kind of quietly, almost behind the scenes, shaping, well, pretty much everything in modern India.
Yeah, it's wild when you think about it.
I mean, their influence is everywhere. Steel, salt, cars, software, even like the tea you might be drinking right now. And this isn't just a story about business, is it? It feels much bigger, like a really profound legacy.
Exactly.
So today we're doing a deep dive into the Tatas. It feels like a story about vision, about values, and honestly, just sheer guts.
It really is. And our main source here, this book, The Tatas by Girish Kuber, it's more than just a history.
Yeah.
It reads almost like a blueprint. You know, how this family didn't just build companies, they genuinely helped build a nation.
A blueprint, I like that.
And the timeline is huge. We're talking over 150 years. It starts with Jamsetji Tata, the original visionary,
Right.
all the way through to Ratan Tata in the modern era. So our mission today is really to unpack all of that, this incredible journey, and pull out the key lessons for you.
Okay, let's start at the beginning then. Back in the 1800s with Jamsetji Tata. Now, India is still under British rule at this point. What made his vision so different, so revolutionary for that time?
Well, it boils down to, I think, the sheer audacity of it all.
Audacity, how so?
Look, he wasn't just thinking about starting, a textile mill or something typical for the time. He was dreaming bigger. He dreamt of a self-reliant India even under the British Raj.
Which must have seemed radical.
Completely. And the book pours his specific, almost defiant goals. A proper steel plant, a truly world-class luxury hotel, and a top-tier science education institute.
Wow, okay, those are not small ambitions.
Not at all.
Yeah.
These weren't just businesses. They were like direct challenges to the way things were, to the colonial mindset. And predictably, he faced a lot of skepticism. People basically laughed at him. They thought it couldn't be done there.
Yet he didn't just dream. He actually started things, right?
Yeah.
Planted the seeds.
Exactly. Despite all that pushback, he laid the actual groundwork for what became Tata Steel. He built the Taj Mahal Hotel. I mean, what an icon, right? A symbol of Indian pride.
Absolutely.
And he put forward the vision that eventually grew into the Indian Institute of Science. So yeah, real, tangible institutions came out of that belief. And there's a powerful lesson right there, I think, for you, for anyone listening. Jamsetji shows that big dreams, they don't just wait around for the perfect moment.
They create it.
They create it. His fearlessness, even when everything seems stacked against him, it genuinely changed the game.
Okay, so Jamsetji plants these incredible seeds. But he passes away. What happens next? How did his sons, his successors, take that foundation and, well, expand on it?
They didn't just maintain it, they really built upon it, focusing on things crucial for the nation.
Like what specifically?
Well, think about Tata Power. They didn't just, set up a few generators. They took on these massive hydroelectric projects, super challenging engineering feats back then, to give Mumbai reliable electricity.
Wow, okay. Infrastructure.
Foundational stuff. Or Tata Motors, creating India's first indigenously developed car, the Indica. That was a huge statement about self-reliance.
A big step, yeah.
And then, of course, Tata Consultancy Services, TCS, putting India onto the global tech scene, like way ahead of the curve. These were nation-building projects as much as businesses.
That's a really interesting mix of ventures. But what made the Tata Group different? Lots of companies grow, lots get big. What was unique about them, according to the sources?
It seems to come down to their core values. The book really emphasizes this unwavering commitment to ethics, to nation building, yes, but also to employee welfare, deeply.
So it wasn't just PR.
Apparently not. It seems it was genuinely part of their DNA. The book gives examples of tough times, economic downturns, where maybe the easy path, the profit-driven path, was something else.
Right.
But they consistently chose the path that aligned with long-term impact and integrity, prioritizing people, prioritizing the country over maybe quick financial wins, and that really does set their legacy apart.
So the takeaway there is, legacy isn't just about the bottom line. It's built by choosing impact, maybe, over those short-term gains.
That seems to be the message, yeah. It makes you think, doesn't it, how that principle could apply in your own work, your own projects.
Definitely. Okay, let's jump forward now. Fast forward to the 1990s. Ratan Tata takes charge. And the description often used is this, scattered empire.
It was quite spread out.
And apparently, there were a lot of doubts, right? Inside the company, outside. Could he really lead this huge, complex group? You can imagine the pressure.
Oh, absolutely, immense pressure. But he completely defied those expectations. And the book gives some great insights into how he pulled it off.
What were the key things he did?
Well, several massive achievements. He was behind the launch of the Tata Indica, that first fully Indian car we mentioned. A huge moment.
Right, building on that earlier foundation.
Exactly. Then think about the Jaguar Land Rover acquisition.
Oh yeah, that was huge. And controversial, wasn't it?
Very controversial. A lot of analysts, industry experts, they were deeply skeptical, said it couldn't work, that it was too big a risk, but he pushed it through and, well, look at JLR now.
Turned it around.
Became a global success story. So he wasn't just managing, he was consolidating, globalizing, making really bold moves.
But here's what strikes me during all that massive change, that global push. How did he keep the original Tata culture, that trust-based thing? Did the book talk about that tension? Because scaling like that often strains values, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And it couldn't have been easy. The book describes his style as quiet leadership.
Quiet leadership.
Yeah, meaning he wasn't about, grandstanding or loud pronouncements. He worked more behind the scenes, building consensus for these big, bold moves like JLR.
Interesting.
He led by example, showing that you could make these aggressive strategic decisions while staying true to those core values. It really highlights how that combination, quiet determination, bold choices, but always anchored in consistent values, is maybe the key to making something last. It wasn't just growth for growth's sake. It was transformation, but transformation that kept the soul of the company intact.
So bringing us to today, the Tata Group is just enormous. What are the numbers again? Over 100 companies?
Yep, over 100 companies employing, get this, more than 900,000 people around the world.
Wow.
And contributing billions to India's economy. The scale is staggering.
Truly staggering.
But again, the story isn't really just about the size, is it? It comes back to that purpose.
Right.
The whole Tata narrative, it really feels like a masterclass in, doing business the right way, perhaps.
How so? What are examples of that purpose today?
You see it in how the Tata Trusts, which own a majority stake in the main holding company, channel wealth back into society, funding hospitals, university stuff they were doing long before CSR became a corporate buzzword.
And even things like their commitment as a group to try and stay debt-free. It's framed as a matter of dignity, of independence. It just reinforces that for them, business seems to be a means to a greater end, a way to contribute.
It's like that quote you mentioned from the sources. How did it go? In a world full of noise.
The Tatas built quietly and built forever.
That captures it really well. Built quietly, built forever.
It does, and it leaves you thinking, doesn't it, about the power of that quiet, consistent, values-driven action over the long haul. It kind of makes you reflect, maybe in your own life or work. What quiet, steady steps could you take today that might actually build something really significant, something lasting down the road?